Success is often talked about as something you achieve for yourself, and that's true. But there's a deeper, stronger reason to chase success. It's the best way to respond when life knocks you down, when people doubt you, or when you face setbacks. Instead of wasting energy on anger or bitterness, success lets you rise above it all with real results. It's a powerful form of quiet strength that speaks louder than words ever could. This isn't about revenge in the way most people think. It's not about proving others wrong to feel better for a moment. It's about proving to yourself that you can grow, improve, and become the person you want to be, no matter the obstacles. This book will walk you through practical steps to build discipline, confidence, and resilience. It will show you how to face hard truths without excuses, manage your time with purpose, and turn challenges into strength. You'll learn how to stay focused when pressure builds, how to win by showing progress instead of reacting to criticism, and how to inspire others simply by living the changes you want to see. Each chapter offers clear advice you can apply daily, helping you grow steadily and quietly into someone who doesn't just talk about success, but lives it every day. If you're ready to stop feeling stuck or held back and start moving forward with determination, this book is for you. It's about taking control of your life and making success the best kind of revenge, the kind that lasts and transforms everything. Stay with me, and together we'll unlock the power you already have inside. Chapter 1. Take control of your life with unshakable discipline. If you want to change your life, you must first master yourself, and the only way to do that is through discipline that does not shake when things get uncomfortable. Success is not a matter of luck or timing or hoping that someone will notice your potential. Success is about taking full responsibility for every inch of your life and refusing to wait for ideal conditions. That's what discipline is. It is not about being perfect. It's about choosing structure over chaos, self-respect over self-indulgence, and long-term rewards over short-term pleasure. And the truth is, no one will do it for you. No one is coming to save you. That's not meant to be harsh. It's meant to be empowering, because it means that the power to change everything already lives inside of you. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards action, and consistent action only comes from discipline. You might not control the outcomes immediately, but you always control the effort. Discipline is waking up and doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Anyone can take action when they're excited. Anyone can work when they're motivated. But discipline separates the dreamers from the doers. It's the muscle that gets you through the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Discipline is what turns chaos into order. It builds your character, sharpens your thinking, and gives your life direction. Without it, you will always drift. With it, you can rise from any starting point. When you take control of your life through discipline, you stop waiting for permission. You stop blaming your past. You stop relying on your mood. You begin to act based on your values, not your emotions. That is a powerful shift. It's how people rebuild after failure, how they stay focused through heartbreak, how they create progress when no one is cheering for them. Discipline means doing the right thing even when it's the hard thing. It means staying on the path when it's boring, when it's lonely, and when it would be easier to quit. That's how people change. Not overnight. Not by some magical burst of inspiration, but by small repeated actions fueled by self-control and purpose. You will not become disciplined by reading about it. You become disciplined by practicing it. You don't wait to feel ready. You start where you are. And that first act of following through, no matter how small, builds the foundation. Every time you do what you said you would do, even if it's uncomfortable, you are voting for the person you want to become. Each small action adds up. You don't need to change everything today, but you need to start owning your time. You need to take responsibility for your habits. You need to become honest about what's wasting your energy, because your future is not decided by fate. It's shaped by what you do with your time every single day. Discipline is not punishment. It is a gift you give yourself. It is how you protect your goals from your temptations. It's how you honor your potential instead of being ruled by comfort. Every time you choose discipline, you are choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term relief. You are saying no to what's easy, so you can say yes to what's meaningful. This doesn't mean you live a life without joy or spontaneity. It means you live a life with standards. It means you rise above the noise. You don't follow the crowd. You don't give your time to distractions. You stay focused on what matters, because you know your time is your life, and you don't waste it on things that don't build you. Real freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you feel like. Real freedom comes from being in control of yourself. Discipline creates that freedom. It gives you the ability to choose growth over reaction, structure over chaos, and purpose over distraction. Without discipline, you're controlled by your impulses. You jump from idea to idea, emotion to emotion, goal to goal. You never build momentum. You always start over. But with discipline, even the hardest days move you forward. You learn how to keep your commitments. You learn how to manage your time. You learn how to develop habits that serve you instead of destroy you. If you're tired of starting over, get serious about your discipline. Stop talking about what you want and start proving it with your actions. If you say you want to get healthy, stop negotiating with your excuses. If you say you want to build something great, stop scrolling through distractions. If you say you want to be respected, stop showing up late. If you say you want to succeed, stop blaming your circumstances. No more wishful thinking. No more blaming others. No more waiting. Take back control. That begins with how you spend your day. Not someday in the future, but now. Discipline is also how you build self-trust. Every time you do what you promised yourself, your confidence grows. Not because you reached the finish line, but because you honored your word. That kind of integrity is rare, and it's powerful. It creates a foundation that doesn't break under pressure. You begin to believe in yourself, not based on empty affirmations, but based on evidence. You showed up. You followed through. You didn't back down just because it got uncomfortable. That's how you earn real confidence. Through action, through showing up when it's easier not to, through living by your values even when no one is watching. You don't have to be the most talented or the most connected. But if you are the most disciplined, you will win in the long run, because discipline outlasts talent. Discipline beats motivation. Discipline shows up when everything else fades. The people who rise are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who trained themselves to do the hard things without complaining. They created structure. They became intentional with their choices. They didn't waste their life chasing approval. They focused on results, not excuses. That's the life discipline creates. One where your days are not driven by chance, but by purpose. You must learn to delay gratification. This is not about denying yourself pleasure. It's about understanding timing. Not everything needs to be done now. Not every urge needs to be followed. Not every opportunity is worth your energy. Discipline helps you say no to what seems urgent, so you can say yes to what is important. It helps you protect your attention, your energy, and your focus. These are your most valuable resources. And the world will drain them if you don't guard them. That's why you need standards. That's why you need boundaries. That's why you need to stop explaining yourself to people who don't live with your consequences. You won't always get it right. You will slip up. You will miss a day. That doesn't mean you failed. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about getting back up faster. It's about not letting one mistake become your new lifestyle. You miss one workout. You show up the next day. You break your diet. You get back on track at the next meal. You waste a morning. You don't waste the rest of the day. Discipline teaches you to move forward, not wallow in guilt. You don't need to punish yourself. You need to recommit. The quicker you get back on track, the stronger you become. It's not about doing everything right. It's about never quitting when things go wrong. The reason people admire discipline is because it's rare. Most people settle. They give in to laziness, distraction, and comfort. They talk about what they want, but they don't back it up. So when someone shows up consistently, when someone does the work even when it's boring or hard, they stand out. Not because they're extraordinary, but because they're dependable. They get things done. They finish what they start. They're not easily shaken. That kind of consistency builds credibility. It builds a reputation. People begin to respect you, not for being flashy, but for being solid, reliable, focused. And that's worth more than being popular or liked. Discipline will not make your life easy, but it will make your life yours. You stop drifting. You stop wasting years. You stop being ruled by fear, mood, and comfort. You become the architect of your own life. You wake up with clarity. You operate with intention. You do what needs to be done, whether or not anyone notices. Because your reward is not applause. Your reward is progress, peace, purpose. And those are not things that can be given to you. They must be earned. You want revenge. Build a life that no one can ignore. Not by fighting your critics or trying to prove them wrong with words, but by building something so strong, so focused, so resilient, that it speaks for itself. Your routine speaks. Your consistency speaks. Your results speak. That's how discipline becomes power. And that's how success becomes the best revenge. Not because you chased approval, but because you outgrew your past. You outgrew the doubts. You became everything they said you couldn't. And you did it not through noise but through relentless action. Start today. Create structure. Set standards. Cut distractions. Stop negotiating with excuses. Do what you said you would do. Not when it's easy, but when it's necessary. And watch how your life changes. Not all at once, but steadily, quietly. That's what unshakable discipline builds. A version of you that no one can break. A life that reflects your highest standards. A future shaped by your actions, not your circumstances. That is what it means to take control. And that is the first step to winning for real. Chapter 2. Build unstoppable confidence through daily courageous actions. Confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you earn, brick by brick, through the choices you make every day. It grows not from praise, but from experience. It doesn't come from waiting until you feel ready. It comes from taking action before you're sure, and proving to yourself that fear doesn't have the final say. Confidence is the reward for courage, and courage, by definition, only exists when fear is present. If you want to become confident, you have to stop waiting for the fear to disappear. You have to move forward while it's still in your chest, because the only way to weaken fear is to stop obeying it. Most people assume confidence means being fearless, but that's a lie. Confidence isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to keep going in spite of it. It doesn't need to shout. It's a quiet choice made again and again, when you speak your truth even if your voice shakes, when you step into the unknown without a guarantee, when you choose growth over safety. These moments may seem small, but they build something permanent inside you. Each time you act boldly, you create a new reference point. You prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. That evidence compounds, and over time it becomes your self-belief. The mistake many people make is thinking they need to wait for confidence to arrive before they act. But action is the seed, and confidence is the fruit. You have to take the step first. You have to risk looking foolish. You have to try, fail, try again. That's the price. And that's what makes real confidence so valuable. It's earned. It can't be given. It can't be faked. When you know you've done hard things, when you've faced discomfort and moved through it, no one can take that away from you. You don't need approval. You don't rely on reassurance. You carry your history with you, and it fuels you quietly from the inside. Daily courageous action doesn't mean doing something extreme. It means doing something uncomfortable, something you would usually avoid, something that stretches your limits just enough to cause growth. Maybe it's having a conversation you've been putting off. Maybe it's showing up when you don't feel good enough. Maybe it's applying for the opportunity, even if you doubt you'll get it. These acts don't need to be dramatic, but they need to be honest. They need to confront fear directly, because fear thrives in avoidance. It grows stronger every time you back away, but it loses its grip every time you lean in. Confidence is built in the trenches. It's built when no one is watching. When you wake up and do the hard thing even though there's no applause. When you show up for your goals even when the results are slow. When you keep your word to yourself when it would be easier to break it. These are the moments that shape you. Not the big wins, but the daily effort. The inner battles. The silent victories. The discipline to act with integrity when shortcuts are tempting. The decision to lead your life instead of letting it drift. You don't need to be fearless to be confident. You need to be consistent. You need to be honest about where you hide, and then step out of that hiding place. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. You need to compare yourself to who you were yesterday and make sure you're moving forward. Real confidence doesn't compete. It doesn't seek to dominate others. It simply shows up, grounded and calm, because it knows its strength. That kind of confidence comes from alignment, when your actions match your values, when you stop pretending, and when you start trusting yourself again. To build that trust, you have to stop lying to yourself. You have to stop making promises you don't keep. Every time you say you'll do something, and don't, you weaken your own belief. It's not about shame, it's about awareness. You can't grow if you're not honest about what's holding you back. Are you avoiding discomfort? Are you waiting for things to get easier? Are you letting fear dictate your choices? These are hard questions, but they are necessary. Growth begins with self-respect, and self-respect grows every time you follow through. Confidence follows that. You must become a person who takes action in spite of doubt. Not a person who waits for the doubt to disappear, because doubt never truly goes away. It just gets quieter when you stop feeding it. The more you act, the more familiar discomfort becomes, and when it's familiar, it loses its power. You stop reacting. You stop running. You start seeing challenges as proof of your own strength. And that changes everything. The world may not change. The people around you may not support you, but your mindset becomes unshakable. You learn to stand tall in your own life, even when it's hard. Courage is not a one-time decision. It is a daily practice. It is a choice to lean into truth, to walk toward growth, and to be willing to be seen even when you're unsure. Courage is built when you stop hiding behind potential and start living it out, imperfectly but fully. The people you admire are not braver than you. They've simply decided that fear will not decide the quality of their life. You must do the same. You must choose progress over pride, risk over routine, truth over comfort. Every time you do, your confidence grows stronger, not louder but deeper. If you want to feel different, you have to act different. You can't build confidence by thinking about it. You can't read your way into courage. You have to put yourself in situations where action is required, and you have to make a decision, again and again, to choose movement over stagnation. Courage is not loud. It's quiet, steady, and stubborn. It's what keeps you going when you're tired. It's what moves you forward when your mind tells you to retreat. It's what brings your goals within reach. Not because you were certain, but because you were committed. You don't need to know exactly what to do. You just need to take one honest step each day. Over time, those steps change your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who waits, who avoids, who hesitates. You begin to see yourself as someone who tries, who risks, who grows. And that is how you become confident. Not through luck, not through praise, but through proving, each day, that you will not betray your own growth, that you will not let fear write your story, that you will act with courage, not once but repeatedly. And when you do this, confidence becomes your natural state. Not because life gets easier, but because you've become stronger. You've trained yourself to act, to speak, to lead, even when it's uncomfortable. You've earned the right to trust yourself, and nothing is more powerful than a person who knows they can count on themselves in any situation. That is confidence. That is strength. That is freedom. Chapter 3. Cut off all excuses and face your hard truths. Every excuse you hold on to is a barrier between you and the life you say you want. It's not your schedule. It's not your past. It's not the people around you. It's the quiet decision you make to give your power away and protect your comfort instead of claiming responsibility. Excuses sound logical, they sound justified, and they often come with a story that makes sense. But the truth is, excuses keep you stuck. They prevent change by offering a way out every time things feel difficult or unfamiliar. You can't grow and cling to excuses at the same time. One of them has to go. Facing the truth about your life is not easy. It means admitting that you've tolerated less than what you're capable of. It means recognizing the ways you've betrayed your own standards. It means no longer blaming people, circumstances, or timing. Growth demands ownership, and ownership begins where excuses end. You don't need to shame yourself. You don't need to dwell in regret. You need to look directly at your patterns and decide, with full honesty, whether they are leading you where you want to go. If they're not, it's time to stop defending them and start dismantling them. Most people protect their excuses because it gives them a way to stay comfortable without facing guilt. If they believe they don't have time, they don't have to try. If they believe they're too old, they don't have to learn. If they believe others are luckier, they don't have to take risks. These beliefs may sound harmless, but they are weapons against your own potential. The mind prefers the familiar. It wants to stay where it feels safe. But growth only happens when you disrupt that pattern and expose the truth. You are capable of more, but you've been choosing less. Taking responsibility does not mean blaming yourself for everything. It means accepting that you are the only one who can move yourself forward. It means understanding that no one is coming to save you. The help you're waiting for, the clarity you think you need, the push you hope someone will give you, those things are already inside you, waiting to be activated. But they won't wake up as long as you keep hiding behind explanations and stories that remove your agency. You must stop asking for permission to change and begin acting like the leader of your own life. Hard truths are uncomfortable. They reveal the gap between who you are and who you could be. But they are also the key to progress. You cannot change what you won't confront. You cannot improve what you're unwilling to admit. If you want to break free from the version of yourself that's been playing small, you have to face the reality of your decisions. What habits are keeping you in cycles of regret? What fears are you letting control your choices? What lies do you tell yourself to feel better about avoiding the work? These answers matter more than any plan or goal. There is no growth without discomfort. You will not evolve by staying in the same routines. You will not succeed by repeating the same excuses. Real change begins when you start being brutally honest with yourself. This is not cruelty, it's clarity. And clarity is power. When you see clearly what needs to change, you can stop pretending and start acting. When you stop telling stories that excuse your inaction, you gain access to your full strength. The truth might sting at first, but it will set the foundation for every breakthrough that follows. It's easier to blame circumstances than to take initiative. It's easier to point to your past than to make a decision in the present. But everything you want is waiting on the other side of responsibility. When you take ownership, excuses lose their grip. You stop arguing for your limitations. You stop convincing yourself that waiting is safer than trying. You stop shrinking to avoid failure and start expanding to embrace your full capacity. This is not about being perfect. It's about being accountable. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stop hiding behind the reasons you haven't started. You have to ask yourself what matters more, comfort or growth. You can't have both. Growth demands that you let go of the version of you that plays small, stays silent, and makes peace with mediocrity. It requires sacrifice. It asks you to step forward without guarantees, to show up even when you're uncertain, and to commit to change without needing constant motivation. The people who grow the most are not the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who decided to stop making excuses and start doing the work, even when it wasn't easy or convenient. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. You don't need a better plan or more support. You need to decide that your excuses have taken enough from you. You need to stop giving them permission to delay your progress. You need to take one step, and then another, even if they're small. Progress compounds, and with every step forward, your excuses lose power. Every time you act, in spite of fear, you rewrite your identity. Every time you take responsibility, you reclaim your confidence. This is how you build momentum, not by waiting, but by doing what you said you would do. Your future depends on what you do with your hard truths. You can ignore them and repeat the same patterns, or you can face them and create a different outcome. The choice is yours. No one can make it for you, and no excuse is strong enough to carry you through life with pride. Only action can do that. Only honesty can unlock your next level. Only discipline can replace regret with progress. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about doing the next right thing, and not backing down when it challenges your comfort. You are not a victim of your story unless you choose to be. You are not limited by your past unless you keep repeating it. You are not trapped unless you keep choosing the same response. Life will test you. People will disappoint you. Failure will visit you. But none of those things can stop you if you stop excusing yourself from the responsibility of growth. You can rise or you can retreat. You can face the truth or you can avoid it. But you cannot change your life without choosing one path over the other. When you finally decide to cut off excuses, you start to experience freedom, not the kind that comes from escaping responsibility, but the kind that comes from owning it. You stop running from your reflection and start shaping it. You stop reacting and start leading. You stop surviving and start living. That power has always been in you. It's been buried beneath comfort, fear, and self-doubt, but it never left. You just need to reach for it again, with both hands, with full honesty, and with a heart ready to face everything and keep going anyway. Chapter 4. Master your time by focusing only on growth. Time is not something you find more of. It is something you manage with purpose. If you do not decide what to do with your time, the world will decide for you. Most people drift through their days, reacting to everything that comes their way. They answer every notification, respond to every distraction, and try to keep up with everything at once. By the end of the day, they feel drained, yet nothing meaningful was accomplished. This is not a time problem. This is a focus problem. If you do not direct your attention toward growth, your time will be stolen by things that do not move your life forward. Mastering your time begins with asking one simple question: is this helping me grow? If the answer is no, then you are spending time, not investing it. There is a difference. Spending time feels busy, but leads nowhere. Investing time feels intentional and builds momentum. The way you use your hours becomes the shape of your future. Every minute either feeds your strength or wastes your energy. You do not need more time in a day. You need to remove what doesn't matter and double down on what does. Growth does not happen by accident. It happens by design. You must create your days in a way that supports your values and protects your focus. That means saying no to distractions that once felt normal. That means building habits that support your highest goals, not your temporary feelings. That means being honest about where your time is leaking and choosing to tighten the gaps. Every moment you spend scrolling without intention, gossiping, procrastinating, or replaying the past is a moment taken from your growth, and you will never get that moment back. You are not too busy. You are just not prioritizing what matters most. When something is important enough, you make time for it. If you say your health is important, but spend no time improving it, then it is not a priority. If you say your dream matters, but never carve out space to work on it, then you are lying to yourself. Time is not the enemy. Avoidance is. You avoid the things that require effort and run toward the things that give you temporary escape. But temporary escape leads to long-term regret. Growth is not always fun, but it is always worth it. Focus is your most powerful tool, and it is being stolen by noise. You must reclaim it. That means blocking out time where nothing gets to interrupt you. That means waking up with intention, not confusion. That means reviewing your day with honesty and asking what truly helped you move forward. It is not enough to stay busy. You must stay aligned. Every day is a chance to get better. If you are not improving, you are repeating. And what you repeat becomes your identity. Structure creates freedom. When your time has a purpose, your mind has peace. You no longer waste energy deciding what to do next. You no longer wonder where your day went. You no longer feel overwhelmed by everything because you've already decided what matters. Most people live in reaction. You must live in creation. That means creating routines that support discipline. That means designing a lifestyle that supports progress. That means removing the option to quit every time you feel resistance. Growth requires friction. It means doing what you don't want to do when you don't feel like doing it. You won't always be motivated. That's why you need systems. Systems remove the need for willpower. When your days are built around habits that align with your goals, progress becomes inevitable. Wake up at the same time. Move your body daily. Reflect on your thoughts. Protect your energy. Review your week. Learn something new. Show up when it's hard. These are not just habits. These are the foundations of a focused life. You are allowed to rest. But rest must be earned and scheduled, not used as a permanent escape. Rest is recovery, not avoidance. Growth requires energy, and energy comes from managing your time in ways that serve your well-being. Don't confuse relaxation with distraction. Real rest restores you. Distraction drains you. Be honest about which one you're choosing. Most people waste hours every day and then wonder why they feel stuck. They chase ease and avoid effort, not realizing that mastery only comes through consistency. The goal is not to do more. The goal is to do what matters most. That requires clarity. What does success look like to you? What steps are required to reach it? What habits support those steps? What distractions are pulling you away? When you answer these questions, your schedule starts to change. You stop filling your calendar with noise. You start protecting your time like your future depends on it, because it does. The most successful people are not those who do everything. They are the ones who do the right things, over and over again, even when no one is watching. Every time you say yes to something that does not align with your purpose, you are saying no to something that does. You must choose carefully. Time is not refundable. Once it's gone, it's gone. This means being ruthless with your focus and unapologetic about your priorities. Not everyone will understand. That's fine. You are not here to meet everyone's expectations. You are here to grow into the person you were meant to be. That requires sacrifice. That means fewer distractions, fewer obligations, fewer detours. If it doesn't help you grow, it doesn't belong on your schedule. Clarity brings commitment. Once you are clear on your direction, commitment becomes easier. You no longer entertain everything that comes your way. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You wake up with purpose, move with discipline, and close your day with peace. This is what it means to master your time. It is not about doing everything. It is about doing what matters with full focus and no apology. You are not behind. You are just distracted. Focus on growth, and everything else begins to align. There is nothing stopping you from mastering your time except your current habits. Change them. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for life to become less chaotic. Start now. Wake up earlier. Eliminate what is wasting your hours. Build a routine that supports your mental clarity. Choose growth over comfort. Repeat until it becomes who you are. The people who succeed in life are not the ones who had more talent or resources. They are the ones who showed up every day and used their time to build something real. You will never feel like you have enough time. That feeling is an illusion. What you can do is take control of what you have and use it with intention. You can focus on growth, or you can focus on excuses. You can let time slip through your hands, or you can shape it with purpose. But you cannot do both. Decide who you want to become and build your days around that decision. Not once, not when it's easy, but daily, consistently, relentlessly. That is how time becomes your ally instead of your enemy. Chapter 5. Transform pain into power through consistent self-respect. Pain will meet you where you are, whether you're prepared for it or not. It comes in many forms: betrayal, loss, failure, humiliation, regret. And it doesn't ask for permission before it changes you. But how it changes you is a decision you must make. You can let pain reduce you, or you can let it raise you. Most people try to avoid it, numb it, or outrun it. But the truth is, the more you avoid pain, the more control it gains over your life. The only way to take your power back is to face the pain with self-respect. Not just once, not just in moments of clarity, but consistently until it becomes a part of your identity. Self-respect is the quiet force that helps you stand tall when life wants to break you down. It's not about ego. It's not about pretending you're okay when you're not. It's about choosing to treat yourself with dignity, even when everything around you feels chaotic. When you respect yourself deeply, you no longer need others to validate your worth. You stop settling for relationships that drain you. You stop tolerating habits that sabotage you. You stop betraying yourself to make others comfortable. Pain may have visited you, but it doesn't get to define you unless you give it permission. The power to heal starts with the decision to be on your own side. That means refusing to speak to yourself like you're a failure just because you're struggling. That means not allowing the opinions of others to shape your view of who you are. That means showing up for yourself, especially when it would be easier to quit. Self-respect is not built in comfort. It's built in those quiet moments when you do the hard thing because you know you deserve better. That's where your power is born, through action, not emotion. You can't turn pain into power if you keep revisiting the same cycles that caused the pain. You have to make new choices. You have to walk away from what keeps wounding you. You have to stop looking for relief in places that robbed you of your peace. Pain is loud, but so is clarity when you stop silencing your instincts. That voice inside you that says you deserve more, that is the beginning of your power. Listen to it, honor it, and take action that aligns with it. Every day you choose to rise instead of retreat, you build strength. That strength is not always visible. It won't always feel triumphant. Some days it will feel like dragging yourself forward, inch by inch. But progress is still progress. Power is not about force. It's about resilience. It's about not giving up on yourself when things fall apart. It's about learning from every scar without turning bitter. It's about using what tried to break you as fuel for what builds you. There is nothing noble about staying stuck in suffering. Your past does not make you stronger until you learn from it. Until you stop hiding from it. Until you extract wisdom from the wounds. That means asking yourself hard questions. What did I allow? What did I ignore? What patterns did I repeat? What lesson am I refusing to learn? These questions are uncomfortable, but they're the gateway to transformation. You cannot claim your power if you're still blaming everyone else for your pain. Owning your choices is an act of self-respect. It's saying, yes, this happened to me, but I refuse to stay there. It's understanding that while you didn't choose the pain, you can choose the response. And every time you choose growth over victimhood, you get stronger. Power comes from the decision to take responsibility for your healing. No one else can do it for you. Not time. Not distractions. Not even love from others. Real healing comes from choosing yourself every single day, even when you feel broken. The hardest part of pain is not the pain itself. It's the story you start to believe about yourself because of it. You begin to see yourself as damaged. You begin to assume that life will always feel heavy, but those are stories, not facts. You can rewrite them, not through wishful thinking, but through action. Build discipline. Set boundaries. Speak kindly to yourself. Keep promises to yourself. Stop settling. Show yourself that you are worth the effort. Every time you make that choice, you are transforming pain into power. There will be moments when you want to go back to the habits that numbed the pain, back to the comfort of distraction, back to people who once felt familiar. But growth requires that you resist the urge to go backward. Growth means choosing your future self over your past patterns. It means being uncomfortable now, so you can be proud later. That's the price of power. You must let go of who you were to become who you are meant to be. Self-respect is not about being perfect. It's about being honest. It's about saying, I made mistakes, but I'm not that mistake. It's about giving yourself grace without giving yourself excuses. You hold yourself to a higher standard, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you know your worth. When you act from a place of respect, you no longer allow pain to be your identity. You allow it to be a part of your story, but not the whole story. The rest is up to you to write. You don't have to rush healing. You just have to commit to it. That means waking up every day and doing one thing that supports your growth. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's moving your body. Maybe it's cutting contact with what's been keeping you stuck. These actions may seem small, but they are declarations. They are your way of saying, I will not stay where pain left me. That is power. Quiet, steady, unshakable. When you treat yourself with respect, your life begins to change. You start attracting relationships that honor your value. You start making decisions that reflect your strength. You stop apologizing for wanting more. Pain no longer owns you. It strengthens you. And the people who once doubted you, the ones who hurt you, the ones who left you behind, they no longer hold power over your future, because you've taken it back. You don't need revenge. You don't need validation. You don't need anyone to tell you that you matter. When you transform pain into power through self-respect, you become your own proof. Not through noise, not through anger, but through quiet resilience, through daily choices, through discipline, through becoming the person your past self needed. And when that happens, you no longer live from pain, you live from power, and that changes everything. Chapter 6. Prove your worth by becoming better every single day. There is no need to shout your worth when your actions speak louder than any claim you could ever make. In a world where so many people wait to be seen, the rare ones choose to earn their place through steady improvement. You don't need to demand respect. You need to become the kind of person who commands it by showing up better today than you were yesterday. Proving your worth is not about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you are capable of becoming more disciplined, more focused, more resilient than you were the day before. Every day is a blank canvas. You can either drag the weight of your past across it, or you can paint it with progress. You don't need to make massive leaps every day, but you do need to move forward. That may mean waking up earlier to take care of your mind before the world can distract it. It may mean saying no to comfort and yes to growth. It may mean confronting weaknesses that are easier to avoid. Self-worth is not something you find. It's something you build through effort, and the quality of that effort shapes how you feel about yourself. There's something powerful about knowing you're not wasting your time, that every step you take has meaning. When you commit to daily improvement, you don't just grow, you develop trust in yourself. And that trust becomes unbreakable when it's earned through consistency. You no longer need to seek approval from others because you've created something more solid within evidence. Evidence that you can rely on yourself, that you're not all talk, that your words and your actions match. You can't fake self-respect. You can't buy confidence. They're built in the quiet hours, away from attention, when you choose progress over distraction. No one sees the early mornings, the late nights, the lonely grind, the sacrifices, but they show up in who you become. And that version of you, the one that doesn't quit, that doesn't lower their standards, that doesn't wait for the perfect time, is undeniable. People feel it before you say a word. You start to carry yourself differently. You start to expect more, not because you're entitled, but because you've earned it. There's always someone watching and measuring your worth by their standards. But those opinions lose power when you're deeply committed to your own standards. You become immune to comparison when your only competition is the person in the mirror. The version of you from yesterday is the only one worth outperforming. Focus on small wins. Stack them, protect them. They become your identity. You're not chasing perfection, you're chasing growth. And that mindset separates the people who rise from the ones who stay stuck. Improvement doesn't ask for ideal conditions. It thrives in reality. You get better in chaos. You get better when things don't go as planned. You get better when you don't feel like it, but still follow through. That's when character is built. That's when your reputation with yourself gets stronger. And that's what truly matters, what you believe about you. Because if you don't believe you're worth the effort, you won't make the effort. And if you don't make the effort, you stay exactly where you are. Excuses will always be available, but so will discipline. Discomfort will always be part of the journey, but so will strength. You get to choose what you amplify. You get to decide which voice you obey, the one that wants rest or the one that demands growth. Every decision you make either reinforces your worth or erodes it. Don't wait for the big moment. Excellence is not built in moments, it's built in the mundane. The habits, the structure, the boring but necessary steps that most people avoid. You don't have to feel like improving every day. You just have to do it. Your feelings don't dictate your value, your actions do. There's nothing glamorous about waking up early to train your body, study your craft, or sharpen your mind. There's nothing exciting about turning off distractions or sticking to a plan. But those are the things that create unshakable worth. Not because they're impressive on their own, but because they are repeated despite resistance. That's where the proof is. That's where you become undeniable. You will not always be motivated, but you can be devoted. And devotion builds momentum. Momentum builds progress, and progress builds belief. That belief starts to change how you speak to yourself. You begin to say, I am capable, not because it sounds nice, but because you have results that back it up. You carry yourself with certainty, not arrogance, certainty. The kind that comes from seeing yourself grow through effort, not luck. That's real confidence. And it can't be taken from you because you didn't borrow it. You built it. There will be days when it feels like you're not moving fast enough. There will be people who doubt your direction. Don't look back. There will be setbacks that test your patience. Don't break. Everything worth building takes time, and the ones who win are the ones who understand that becoming better every single day compounds. It may not show in 1 week. It may not show in 1 month. But in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, It's unrecognizable. You won't have to explain what you've done. Your life will show it. When you commit to daily improvement, you stop living passively. You start creating outcomes. You become intentional. Every choice becomes an investment in your future self. You no longer leave it to chance. You take ownership. You protect your time. You choose your company carefully. You make your environment match your ambition. And you stop trying to convince people to believe in you. You make them witness it. The world will always have opinions. But you are not here to meet expectations. You are here to reach your potential. And that potential is not unlocked all at once. It's revealed slowly, through effort, through mistakes, through learning, through rebuilding. Every day you show up and do the work. Even when you feel invisible, you're proving your worth, not to others, to yourself. And that's what will carry you forward when everything else fades. Your worth doesn't need to be announced. It needs to be earned, and you earn it by becoming better. Not occasionally, not when it's easy, but every single day. That's how you rise. That's how you become undeniable. That's how you live with pride and without regret. Keep going. Keep growing. That's the only proof you'll ever need. Chapter 7. Replace bitterness with bold purpose and clear goals. Bitterness is a slow-burning poison that robs you of your future while convincing you it's protecting your past. It tells you stories that sound comforting but keep you chained to the pain. It convinces you that your resentment is justified, that holding on to the memory of who hurt you gives you strength. But in truth, bitterness only delays your healing. It doesn't protect you. It traps you. And no matter how unfair life has been, no matter how deeply you've been wronged, the only way to truly win is to stop carrying what you never deserved to bear in the first place and start moving forward with intention. You do not need revenge. You need direction. You do not need to rewrite the past. You need to define your future. There is a power in deciding to stop feeding the anger and start fueling your goals. The energy you've been spending replaying what went wrong can be redirected toward building what's next. And it starts with purpose. Not the kind that's vague or abstract, but the kind you can wake up to, write down, and aim at. Purpose doesn't erase the past. It simply makes it smaller in comparison. It gives you something larger to serve, something beyond yourself, something that makes the struggle worth it. Without a clear purpose, life becomes reactive. You spend your days thinking about what they did, what you lost, what should have happened. You define yourself by the wound instead of the recovery. But once you decide what you're truly here to do, once you give yourself permission to become more than your setbacks, everything changes. The bitterness fades, not because it disappears instantly, but because your focus leaves no space for it to grow. You can't obsess over the past when your eyes are fixed on a mission that demands your full attention. Bold purpose gives you direction when emotion clouds your judgment. It reminds you that this life, no matter how messy, still belongs to you. It invites you to rise above what happened and create something meaningful out of it. It doesn't ask you to forget. It asks you to rise. When your days are centered around goals that matter to you, you start to reclaim control. You begin to measure your worth by your effort, not your pain. You stop being defined by who hurt you, and you start being known for what you're building. Goals give your purpose structure. They take a powerful idea and make it actionable. They turn your intentions into measurable steps. You don't need to figure everything out today. You just need to define where you want to go and take the next right step. A clear goal doesn't just keep you focused, it gives you resilience. Because when you know what you're working toward, setbacks become feedback, not failure. They inform your strategy, not your identity. And over time, the pursuit of your goal replaces the narrative of your past with the story of your progress. You can feel the bitterness trying to return every time something reminds you of what was lost. But with every action you take toward your purpose, you weaken its grip. The weight you've been carrying wasn't meant to be permanent. It taught you. It shaped you. But it doesn't define you. Only you can decide what you'll do with what you've been through. You can hold on to the story, or you can use the lessons and build something better. But you can't do both. One choice leads to stagnation, the other leads to growth. There will always be a reason to stay angry. There will always be something unfair to point to. But if you allow your energy to be consumed by what's behind you, you leave nothing for what's ahead. This is the silent danger of bitterness. It tricks you into thinking you're doing something powerful by holding on, when all you're doing is holding yourself back. If you want to evolve, you have to let go of what you were in order to become what you could be. That means taking ownership. Not of what happened, but of what happens next. Bold purpose is not about being fearless. It's about moving despite the fear. It's about acting even when the past still hurts. It's about choosing not to let your story stop at the part where everything went wrong. You're still breathing. That means you're still writing. And if you're still writing, the story isn't over. Your pain can become your reason, not your excuse. It can give you fire instead of dragging you down, but only if you make that decision. Only if you decide that your purpose is more important than your history. You don't rise because life becomes easier. You rise because you refuse to settle. You rise because you decide that bitterness is too heavy to carry one more day. You rise because you know there's something in you that wants more than anger. And when you listen to that part of you, when you nurture it, act on it, protect it, your future becomes bigger than your past. That's how bitterness fades, not by force but by being replaced with something more powerful. Your purpose should be so clear that it becomes your anchor. On the days you're tired, it keeps you grounded. On the days you doubt yourself, it reminds you why you started. On the days the past creeps back in, it redirects your focus. Goals give that purpose legs to stand on. Without them, it remains a dream. With them, it becomes a pursuit. Write down what you want. Define it. Break it down into small, honest actions. Make those actions part of your routine. Let them become who you are. Over time, you won't need to fight your past. You'll have outgrown it. You have every right to be hurt by what happened, but you also have the responsibility to choose what happens now. Bitterness may have been your shield, but it's also your cage. And the only way out is forward, not perfectly, not quickly, but consistently. Every small step taken in the direction of your goals is a declaration: I will not be ruled by pain. I will not shrink to the size of my wounds. I will become more because I choose to. And no one can take that choice from you. Let your life be driven by purpose, not poisoned by resentment. Let your days be shaped by clarity, not clouded by old anger. You've survived. Now it's time to build. Not for revenge, not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. To become someone you can respect, someone you trust, someone whose actions reflect strength, not bitterness. That's what it means to replace resentment with bold purpose. That's what it means to live free. Chapter 8. Train your mind to stay strong under pressure. Pressure is a constant companion in any meaningful pursuit. It tests your resolve and challenges your capacity to keep moving forward when everything inside you wants to stop. Training your mind to stay strong under pressure isn't about avoiding stress or pretending everything is fine. It's about building resilience so that no matter the storm, your inner foundation remains steady and unshaken. Strength under pressure is a skill that can be learned and practiced every day, and it is one of the most valuable traits you can develop on the road to success. The first step is to recognize that pressure is inevitable. Life will not wait for you to be ready. Challenges, deadlines, setbacks, and criticism will come whether you like it or not. Expecting pressure is not pessimism. It is realism. When you accept this fact, you stop wasting energy fighting the reality of difficulty and start focusing on how to respond. Strength does not come from ignoring stress, but from meeting it head-on with calm and clarity. Training your mind begins with controlling your focus. When pressure mounts, the natural tendency is to let your thoughts spiral, worry about the worst outcomes, replay mistakes, or doubt your abilities. This reaction magnifies the stress and clouds your judgment. Instead, shift your focus intentionally. Bring your attention to what you can control in this moment. Identify the next small step you can take to move forward. This simple act of redirecting your attention grounds you and breaks the cycle of overwhelm. Consistently practicing this refocusing builds mental muscle. Another powerful practice is to build emotional distance from the pressure. When you feel overwhelmed, take a moment to step back and observe your feelings without judgment. Acknowledge the discomfort, but don't let it define you. Think of pressure as an external event rather than a personal attack. This mindset creates space between your emotions and your actions. It prevents you from reacting impulsively and allows you to respond thoughtfully. With repetition, this ability to detach becomes natural and strengthens your resilience. Preparation is key to handling pressure well. When you face a challenging situation, being ready reduces fear and uncertainty. Preparation involves more than technical skills. It includes mental readiness. Visualize possible scenarios and how you would handle them calmly and effectively. Practice deep breathing or grounding exercises to manage your physiological response to stress. The more familiar you are with pressure situations in your mind, the less intimidating they become. Your brain learns to stay composed because it has rehearsed calmness. Routine also plays a critical role in building mental toughness. Establish daily habits that support your focus, energy, and emotional balance. This might mean regular exercise, adequate sleep, meditation, or journaling. These habits serve as the foundation that keeps your mind strong even when external pressure rises. They replenish your energy reserves and provide stability. When you feel physically and emotionally balanced, it's easier to face challenges without crumbling. A crucial mindset to cultivate is viewing pressure as an opportunity for growth instead of a threat. When you reframe difficult moments as chances to learn and improve, your brain releases chemicals that help you stay alert and engaged rather than anxious and frozen. This shift transforms pressure from a paralyzing force into a motivating one. You start to seek challenges because they build strength, not avoid them because they cause discomfort. Over time, this perspective change deepens your resilience. Self-talk significantly influences how you handle stress. Negative, doubtful, or catastrophic thoughts increase tension and reduce performance. Practicing positive and realistic self-talk helps your mind stay focused and confident. Remind yourself of past successes, your ability to handle difficulty, and your commitment to your goals. Speak to yourself as a trusted coach rather than a harsh critic. This internal dialogue sets the tone for your response to pressure and can be trained through repetition and awareness. When the pressure peaks, breathing becomes your anchor. Stress triggers the body's fight or flight response, accelerating your heart rate and tightening muscles. Conscious deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, calming your body and mind. Simple techniques like inhaling slowly through the nose for 4 seconds, holding for 4, and exhaling through the mouth for 6 seconds can reduce immediate stress. Practicing this regularly trains your body to return to calm quickly when pressured. Breaking down overwhelming tasks into smaller parts reduces mental overload. When pressure makes the big picture feel intimidating, focus on the next action you can take. This prevents procrastination and builds momentum. Each completed step provides a small win that boosts your confidence and reduces stress. Over time, you develop the habit of moving forward even when conditions are tough. This persistence is what separates those who succeed from those who give in to pressure. Building a support system is another essential element. Sharing your goals and challenges with trusted friends, mentors, or colleagues provides perspective and encouragement. They can remind you of your strengths when self-doubt creeps in and offer practical advice or simply listen. Isolation often magnifies pressure, but connection helps you maintain emotional balance. Don't underestimate the power of community in strengthening your mental resilience. It is important to remember that failure and mistakes under pressure are part of growth, not signs of defeat. Each setback provides valuable feedback. A strong mind uses these moments to adjust and improve rather than to retreat. Cultivate curiosity about what went wrong and what can be done differently next time. This learning mindset reduces fear of failure and encourages continuous progress, no matter how challenging the situation. Training your mind under pressure also means knowing when to rest and reset. Constant stress without breaks leads to burnout, which weakens mental strength. Recognize signs of fatigue and give yourself permission to step back briefly to recover. Use this time to recharge through activities that bring peace and joy. Returning to your challenges refreshed allows you to face pressure with renewed clarity and vigor. Developing patience is crucial when managing pressure. Results rarely come instantly. Progress takes time and consistent effort. Impatience leads to frustration, rash decisions, and diminished focus. Cultivating patience means trusting the process and staying committed even when immediate outcomes are not visible. It's the quiet strength that sustains you through the hardest moments and prepares you for lasting success. Ultimately, mental strength under pressure is a reflection of how well you know and trust yourself. It is built on a foundation of self-awareness, realistic expectations, and unwavering commitment to your values and goals. When you understand your triggers and responses, you can better manage them. When your goals are clear and meaningful, you are motivated to endure discomfort. When your values guide your actions, you act with integrity even under stress. Every time pressure arises, you have a choice. You can let it control you, or you can control it. By training your mind, you develop the ability to remain steady, focused, and effective no matter what comes your way. This strength becomes your secret weapon in life. It gives you confidence to take risks, courage to face challenges, and resilience to bounce back from setbacks. It turns pressure from an enemy into an ally that sharpens your character and propels your success. Your mind is like a muscle that grows stronger with use. The more you practice staying calm, focused, and purposeful in difficult moments, the easier it becomes. You become someone who does not crumble when things get tough, but rises to the occasion. You prove that success is not about luck or ease, but about the ability to keep going when others give up. This strength will serve you not just in moments of pressure, but throughout your entire life. Commit to training your mind daily. Start with small challenges and gradually increase your capacity. Reflect on how you respond to stress and identify areas for improvement. Practice techniques such as mindfulness, visualization, positive self-talk, and deep breathing. Surround yourself with people who inspire resilience and encourage growth. Remember that mental toughness is not a fixed trait, but a skill you can develop and refine over time. By mastering your mind under pressure, you take control of your life. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become the captain of your destiny. You create space for clear thinking and decisive action even in the most demanding situations. You build a life where challenges do not break you, but make you stronger. And in that strength, you find the freedom to pursue your greatest ambitions without fear. Strength under pressure is not a gift reserved for the few. It is available to anyone willing to do the work, to face discomfort, and to grow through adversity. You have everything you need to cultivate this power within yourself. Begin now. Show up for yourself in every difficult moment. Choose resilience, choose focus, choose growth. This is how you win when the pressure is on. Chapter 9. Win in silence by showing results, not reactions. There is a profound strength in silence that many overlook. It is not about withdrawal or avoidance, but about choosing to channel energy into what truly matters. Results. Actions speak louder than words, and when success is your language, reactions become unnecessary distractions. The loudest and most lasting impact comes from steady progress and undeniable achievements, rather than from impulsive responses or empty claims. Winning in silence means committing to your goals with quiet focus, letting your work and outcomes tell your story. One of the first lessons to understand is the difference between reacting and responding. Reaction is often immediate, emotional, and driven by the need to be heard or defended. It is a fire that burns quickly and fades just as fast, sometimes leaving behind more confusion or conflict. Response, on the other hand, is measured, intentional, and rooted in confidence. It comes from a place of calm assurance that what you build will stand on its own without the need for explanation or justification. Winning in silence is about cultivating this ability to respond thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Choosing silence does not mean you are passive or indifferent. It requires discipline to hold back from the urge to argue, prove yourself, or seek approval. Every moment spent in unnecessary reaction is time and energy taken away from progress. When you prioritize results over words, you demonstrate maturity and control. People notice those who let their achievements speak for themselves, because actions cannot be easily dismissed or forgotten. Building this mindset starts by redefining what success looks like. Society often glorifies loudness. Who shouts the loudest, who gains the most attention. But true success is about consistency, persistence, and measurable improvement. It's about quietly setting goals, working toward them daily, and tracking progress with integrity. Results are the tangible proof of effort and character, far beyond any fleeting praise or criticism. In practice, this means dedicating yourself to daily habits that move you forward, no matter how small the steps. Rather than reacting to every external opinion or setback, focus on refining your skills, deepening your knowledge, and expanding your capabilities. Progress accumulated in silence is steady and unstoppable because it's not dependent on external validation. It's fueled by intrinsic motivation and a clear vision. Resisting the urge to explain or justify yourself also strengthens your personal boundaries. When you encounter criticism or doubt, silence is often the most powerful response. It signals confidence in your path and a refusal to be dragged into unnecessary conflict. By conserving your energy and attention for productive endeavors, you protect your mental clarity and emotional well-being. This focus amplifies your ability to deliver meaningful results. Moreover, winning in silence teaches humility. It's a quiet acknowledgement that the work matters more than recognition. It's the understanding that lasting impact is built over time, not through flashy displays. This humility creates space for learning, growth, and collaboration without ego interference. When you let your accomplishments do the talking, you build respect organically and inspire others without demanding it. The power of silence also lies in its ability to disarm negativity. When others expect you to react with anger, defensiveness, or justification, your calm and quiet composure breaks the cycle. It neutralizes conflict and often leaves critics without fuel. This approach is not about suppressing emotions but about choosing when and how to express them effectively. Strength under pressure includes knowing that silence can be the strongest form of communication. In any competitive environment, those who react emotionally often reveal their vulnerabilities. Conversely, those who focus on outcomes demonstrate resilience and strategic thinking. Silence becomes a tool to maintain control and direct attention toward what matters: progress. This clarity allows you to prioritize and invest in the actions that yield real, lasting benefits. A practical way to develop this approach is through mindful reflection before speaking or acting. When faced with provocation or pressure, pause and consider the consequences of your response. Ask yourself if reacting will advance your goals or distract you from them. Often, the best course is to remain silent, observe, and let time reveal the truth. This habit strengthens over time and becomes a natural default. Celebrate the small wins quietly and keep pushing forward without the need for public validation. Share your progress selectively with trusted allies who support your growth, rather than with those who seek drama or comparison. This selective sharing maintains your focus and preserves your energy for creation, not confrontation. The discipline to win in silence is a reflection of deep self-trust. When you believe in your ability to deliver results, you don't need to shout about your intentions or defend your efforts constantly. You invest in your craft, hone your skills, and hold yourself accountable. This internal accountability drives excellence and fosters a mindset that values substance over showmanship. In relationships, this principle also applies. Instead of engaging in arguments or justifying your choices endlessly, demonstrate your worth through consistent positive actions. Over time, this builds credibility and respect far more than any verbal defense. People gravitate toward those whose lives reflect their words and promises. Learning to master silence also involves embracing patience. Results take time to manifest, and immediate recognition is rare. Silence gives you the space to nurture your efforts without the distraction of external noise. It creates a calm environment for creativity, problem-solving, and deliberate progress. Patience combined with silent persistence is a formidable combination. When your achievements accumulate quietly, they create momentum. This momentum attracts opportunities, builds confidence, and opens doors that words alone cannot. The impact of silent success is profound because it is earned through effort and proven through outcomes, not through fleeting popularity or loud claims. It's essential to remember that silence is not a void. It is a powerful presence filled with purpose and intention. It is a space where focus sharpens and determination deepens. Silence is the soil in which the seeds of success grow, nurtured by daily commitment and resilience. By choosing to win in silence, you take control of your narrative. You become the author of your story, not the subject of gossip or misunderstanding. Your life becomes a testament to perseverance, dedication, and excellence. This approach builds a legacy that speaks for itself long after words have faded. Ultimately, success achieved in silence is a quiet rebellion against distraction, ego, and noise. It is a declaration that what you create matters more than what you say. It is a commitment to letting your work be your voice, and your results be your reputation. This way of living demands discipline and courage, but offers freedom and respect in return. It allows you to focus on what truly moves the needle in your life. It empowers you to stay grounded amid chaos and maintain clarity when the world tries to pull you off course. The path of silent success is not always easy, especially in a culture that rewards loudness and instant gratification. Yet, those who walk it find a profound strength and satisfaction that comes from knowing they are building something real and lasting. Their victories are not fleeting moments of applause but enduring achievements that inspire and uplift. Choosing to win in silence means committing to a higher standard. It means valuing integrity over impression and perseverance over popularity. It means trusting yourself enough to let your actions speak and having the patience to wait for your success to become undeniable. This mindset will serve as a steady compass throughout your journey. When doubts arise or distractions tempt you, returning to this principle will anchor your focus. It will remind you that your greatest power lies not in loud declarations, but in quiet, consistent progress. In this quiet mastery, you find the freedom to pursue your dreams without the need for external approval. You build a life defined by substance, not noise. And in the silence of your work, you craft a legacy that echoes far beyond any spoken word. Chapter 10. Inspire others by becoming the proof of change. True inspiration begins not with words, but with the living proof of transformation. When actions align consistently with intention, they become a beacon others can follow. To inspire is to embody change so fully and authentically that it radiates naturally, influencing without force or persuasion. This is the most powerful way to impact the world, not by telling people what to do, but by showing them what is possible through example. Change often feels abstract until it is witnessed in someone real, someone relatable. The struggles overcome, the habits reshaped, the mindset shifted, all come alive when embodied in a person's daily life. This is why becoming the proof of change carries profound weight. It cuts through skepticism, doubts, and excuses because it offers undeniable evidence that transformation is attainable. Others see this evidence and begin to believe it for themselves. This process starts with acceptance of responsibility for your own growth. It requires honesty about where you have been and clarity about where you want to go. Change is never instantaneous. It is a gradual accumulation of small decisions and consistent effort. The journey itself becomes a testament, each step forward a chapter in a story others can draw strength from. By embracing this journey visibly, you invite others to envision their own path toward improvement. One of the most impactful ways to inspire is through vulnerability paired with resilience. Sharing the challenges you faced, without dramatization or complaint, reveals the reality behind success. It dismantles the myth of effortless achievement and replaces it with a relatable narrative. This openness builds connection and trust, demonstrating that setbacks are part of the process and not signs of failure. It shows that rising after a fall is the real marker of strength. Becoming a living example of change also means embodying the values you advocate. Integrity, discipline, compassion, and courage must shine through your actions consistently. When others observe your behavior aligning with your principles, your credibility multiplies. This alignment fosters respect and admiration, creating a natural influence that doesn't rely on external validation or persuasion tactics. Your life becomes your message. Another key element is patience. Transformation rarely happens overnight, and the impact on others unfolds over time. This requires steadfast commitment to daily improvement, even when progress seems slow or unseen. Your persistence speaks volumes, illustrating that success is a marathon, not a sprint. Over time, the ripple effect grows, inspiring individuals far beyond your immediate circle. Living as proof of change also calls for humility. It means recognizing that growth is ongoing and that perfection is not the goal. This humility invites continual learning and openness to feedback, modeling a mindset others can emulate. It emphasizes that being better today than yesterday is the true victory. This perspective encourages others to release the pressure of immediate success and focus on steady advancement. The environment you create around yourself matters greatly in this endeavor. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals who support growth reinforces your commitment and offers encouragement during difficult phases. This community becomes a powerful platform for collective inspiration, where each member's progress fuels the motivation of others. By participating in such a network, you amplify the impact of your own transformation. Consistent self-discipline is foundational to sustaining the change you embody. It requires developing routines and habits that reinforce your goals and values. This structure creates reliability and predictability, making your transformation tangible and replicable. Others can observe these habits and understand that success is not a matter of luck, but a product of deliberate action. Communication, though not always verbal, plays a significant role. The way you carry yourself, respond to challenges, and treat others sends clear signals. Your demeanor can inspire confidence, resilience, and hope. Demonstrating grace under pressure and kindness in adversity showcases the strength that comes from genuine transformation. This silent influence often resonates more deeply than words. To truly inspire, it is essential to balance personal growth with contribution. Sharing your experiences, insights, and encouragement enriches others' journeys. This does not mean imposing your story, but offering it as a resource and a source of hope. Acts of generosity, whether through mentoring, volunteering, or simple kindness, extend the reach of your example and embed your impact in the community. Reflection also strengthens your role as a proof of change. Regularly assessing your progress, challenges, and lessons ensures that your transformation remains intentional and authentic. This self-awareness deepens your understanding and sharpens your ability to inspire effectively. It prevents complacency and keeps your example fresh and relevant. Inspiration born from genuine change has a lasting legacy. It creates a cycle where one person's courage and growth spark others to embark on their own transformations. This chain reaction elevates not only individuals, but entire communities. The cumulative effect can reshape cultures and redefine what is possible within families, workplaces, and societies. Ultimately, becoming the proof of change means committing to a life of authenticity, perseverance, and purpose. It is a powerful answer to doubt, fear, and stagnation, showing that meaningful transformation is achievable and worth pursuing. This commitment fuels a quiet revolution, where actions replace excuses and progress outshines pessimism. By embodying your ideals with unwavering consistency, you become a living testament to the power of change. Your life tells a story far more convincing than any speech or lecture. It invites others to believe, to try, and to grow alongside you. Through your example, you inspire a future where success is not just a dream but a shared reality.